What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Hey, welcome to another edition. Geek Sci-Fi here on Free X Agents Media and on twitch.tv/Geek Sci-Fi. I am Brian Holiday, and you can see we got Ness, we got Jaws D. The homie Skinny is unfortunately not going to be able to do the show this week, but he sends his love. And Dave is going to be joining us a little bit later. So we're probably just going to catch up first, guys. This is 2 weeks without X-Men 97 to start us off. The pain. The pain. Are we all feeling it? Are we all feeling it in our souls?
I didn't finish
Ness
it.
is like, yeah. Ness is
Clearly,
like,
I'm still behind.
That's okay. I mean, you know what? It's almost like that time I was telling someone how I envied them for having never heard the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. You haven't experienced all of X-Men 97 yet, so you get to experience it, while the rest of us live in the sadness of not having new episodes. So
That's true.
I know, but you get to feel all the influences of the Miseducation.
Yes.
I mean?
I definitely am enjoying. I love living in a world where that album came out. I just wish I could live in a world where I hadn't heard it yet. Like, I don't mind. Like, you know how when we were kids, we'd watch The Simpsons, and The Simpsons would reference movies that we never saw, and then you would see that movie, and you'd be like, "Oh, cool, that's the Simpsons thing. Now I get it." I would be perfectly fine if I listened to any of Lauryn Hill's kids, you know, quote unquote, and then listen back to Lauryn Hill and been like, "Oh, that's where you got that from. Oh, that's where you got that from. Got it." I'd be more than happy.
Like, I always look at sitcoms from the 90s and The Simpsons as like your older, cooler cousins that would always put you onto stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, every time, like, old black sitcoms, they always talk about like black exploitation, or they talk about Jim Kelly, and you're like, "Who's Jim Kelly?" And you're like, "Oh, this is the dude that was in Enter the Dragon with Bruce." Yeah, that guy's cool. That guy was really cool.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild. And, you know, sometimes I wonder, because I was talking to my friends about the different generations, and I don't know if the next, because there's so much content now. When we were watching The Simpsons and all those shows, there was 4 or 5 channels. And now, actually, Janessa, when you were a kid, how many channels were there by the time, like, you were paying attention to TV?
You mean like, well, it depends if you had like cable TV.
Yeah, without cable, it was still just the standards, right? Like, here, at least, you had CBC, CTV.
I feel like we had at least 30 channels.
Okay, yeah. So you're talking cable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You stayed ready for the TV knowledge that you were.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I remember anyway.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah.
It's just weird because there's just.
I know. I think it's going to be more fragmented, and you're going to have your own bubbles that you ever end up gravitating to, or the algorithm just pulls you into, kind of thing. Because I think they're already talking about how, because of social media and because of how TikTok is, you get pulled into like a micro, what's it called? A micro trend.
Bubble. Yeah.
A micro trend, and that'll be good for you until like 2 weeks later, and then you're off to another thing. So right now you don't have people kind of glomping to like, "Oh, hey, I'm a emo, or I'm a punk, or I'm hip hop head, or I'm a backpacker." It's just, "Oh, well, you know, this week I know my mood is, you know, preppy." And then, "Oh, well, the TikTok algorithm saying maybe I should try postmodernism. Who knows?" Or what was the other one? What was the weird ones? Core, like all the cores. I'm gonna be core. I'm just gonna wear jorts and long socks and New Balance.
Are they saying that that's what's happening right now? That kids don't develop a kind of group because the trends happen so fast they can't connect with anything?
I think so. Like, pretty much that's where it's kind of, that's like one of the things I was watching online. They're saying like, yeah, there's no real like, hey, this is a cultural shift to like rebel against X, Y, and Z. So you're not getting that whole like, hey, we all grew up around the same time and listening to the same music and hang out with each other kind of thing. And that doesn't really form anymore because the way
Yeah,
the
because
TikTok
people
algorithms are going and everything. They kind of just, hey, here's this thing for 2 weeks. Here's this
and
thing for 2
people
weeks.
from 13 to like 13 and up who are on these social media apps. I say 13 because they pretend that they're older, but we know
Mhm.
there's like 13-year-olds on these apps. So 13 and up who have the app set to as if they were 18, being fed the same content. So when you're 13 and you're not necessarily mature enough to understand the context, and then when you're older and you have all these things, we're all being fed the same thing and processing it completely differently. But it's
Well,
all one thing as opposed to culturally and like generational, is what you're saying.
I'm saying like there'll be like different bubbles, and people are
Sure,
getting
sure.
different stuff. So like,
That's what I'm saying. The bubble isn't generational. Like the
yeah,
bubble could be
exactly.
a 13-year-old and a 46-year-old looking at
I'm
the exact same video.
I'm saying there might be multiple bubbles. So
Yes, yes,
13-year-olds in one group might be getting fed different things, and those bubbles
sure.
never.
No, Joss, I get that part.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
just
okay.
saying
Excuse me.
you're
Excuse me.
also saying that a 13-year-old and a
Mhm.
46-year-old could be in a bubble.
Yes.
Like, let's say a 13-year-old picks up knitting. That
Mhm.
13-year-old could be in the same bubble with a bunch of adults that are knitting.
Yeah.
And then because they're in that knitting bubble, they're also being fed like the book talk stuff and
Mhm.
being told they should read like some of these books that, if I'm being honest, when I hear my partner talk about them, they sound far more explicit than 13-year-olds should be reading. But because it's on book talk, these kids are being told, oh, you should read this, and it becomes trendy.
Mhm.
But I feel
But
like there's like a gray area for that because it's like, should we be sheltering them to not learn about things
I
like
mean,
sex at a
well,
young
oh,
age?
I,
remember
I'll
what it
let you go,
was
John.
back in the day. It's either you find it in wherever you can get it, which is National Geographic. You go in the woods, and someone had a garbage.
National Geographics.
Like, what? Like the amount of podcasts I heard where guys are like in their 40s, they were like, yeah, you
There
don't
was a
know
bag
about
in the woods.
the forest,
Yeah,
stuff, explicit
I
stuff. What do you mean?
I've talked about that on this podcast, haven't I? There was a bag in the
Someone just
woods.
hit a bunch of stuff, left it there, and then kids would just randomly find it.
If you're from Uptown, you knew the big woods behind Pascal's, which is now a Maxie's, that clearing. There was a
Mhm.
bag in the woods in that area when I was a kid in the teens, and that's where you found your first Playboys and stuff like that. And it was just there.
What?
Everyone just knew it was there.
It was just
Janessa,
basically
wait, well, have you not been here when I've discussed this? That was just a thing.
no, I don't
That's not
think
just
so.
movies.
What?
That's
Yeah.
real.
I believe it. I'm just like shocked.
Yeah, well, because
It's so
you don't have
random.
internet. You're not
Yeah.
old enough to go out and buy that stuff because you're way too
Right.
young.
Yeah,
And
but that's the
the
thing.
the closest thing you kind of got is when you're like late night surfing through stuff, and then you get that scrambled channel, and you're like trying real hard to see, and you think you're seeing it,
Sure,
but you're not.
but this worked back then. Like now, with the age of the internet,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that's what I mean. Like, there's a gray
Yeah.
area. Like, should we be sheltering them,
Well,
or
okay.
is it like
So
okay?
I'll say to your question, I don't think we need to shelter kids from reading some of these books. I do think, though, they need to have a frame of reference for what a healthy relationship is before
Yeah.
they read books that
Mhm.
teach them, oh, bullies are bullying you because they actually want to fall in love with you. And because
You
half of
shouldn't
these
jump off the
stories,
roof so your
Ri-
boyfriend could magically save you at the bottom.
yes,
No.
Yeah,
like
but then how do you manage that? Like,
it's
that's
so funny that you say that because even in the Superman season 2, My Adventures with Lois or whatever, that new animated show, in the first episode of season 2 has a nod to that time that Lois threw herself out the window. Lois jumps
Oh.
down an elevator shaft in the episode, and Clark and her are laughing about it. Yeah, yeah.
yikes.
That was in the movie, if I remember right?
Yes,
When
it
she
is.
jumps
In the
out the
movie, she
window?
throws herself out the window, but in the cartoon, I imagine a nod to it, unless they're really just bored and they're like, let's full on just steal stories. But I imagine it was a nod. I'd like
No,
to
it's
think
a
it was a nod. Here's fingers crossed it was a nod to it. But she jumps down the elevator shaft, and that's what I'm saying. You should have
Okay.
conversations with these kids if they're about to read these books, in which someone explains, oh, that Fey King who is picking on this werewolf queen in this book is and they end up together in this magical fey realm. That's not how it normally should be, that someone bullies you into submission, or
Yeah.
like maybe at least just remind them that you should be treated well by someone
Yeah, that's
before.
fair. But I think
Yeah,
that comes down to like the parents.
society as a whole. I'm not going to only put it on the parents. The parents have to demonstrate a loving relationship, but I'm not going to say
Yeah,
only
you're
your parents are the example of love, because you're going to see
No, no,
love
no. I don't
reflected
mean
everywhere else.
sorry. I didn't mean the example of love. I just meant
Mm,
because it's hard to like control,
Mhm.
to educate them in that way. Like, oh, before
right.
you read this book, like that's what I mean by that's kind of on the parents because you can't really
Okay.
control what they find,
Well,
especially
yeah,
with the
yeah,
internet. So
yeah.
I feel like it's hard to.
This is exactly why I told my mom I wasn't sure I wanted to have kids anymore, because I found out that Santa wasn't real when I was in grade 2.
Sorry,
And I found that out in grade 2, and it was
you were hurt
and
forever.
but I found out in grade 2 because I found out for myself. Like, I got
Yeah,
one of those
same.
scholastic books, and it said for Santa Claus to deliver all the gifts, he would have to travel at this speed. And then it showed some crazy ass equation that as a second grader I did not understand, and I was just like, Santa's not real. What is
That's
this?
what that's what made you realize Santa wasn't real.
Yeah, because I was a really weird logic kid. So when I saw that number and I
Interesting.
believed the equation was, I was just like, well, nothing could travel that fast. So I was just like, so Santa can't be real. And then, other kids were just like, no, Santa's real. It's just magic. And I'm just like, all right, this kid still believes in magic over here. Like, I was like, who's this kid?
Look at this joker over here.
Yeah.
And then all the kids in the class just looking at you like you don't believe in Matt.
No, I was
the heretic.
yeah, I was an unfortunately really jaded kid, I guess, is what I'm realizing.
I think
But
you're
yeah,
just ahead of the game.
What
but
was that
I told
line?
I told my mom I don't think I want to have kids, because in a world where I figured out Santa wasn't real because of a scholastic agenda that had some weird code in it that maybe I never saw in my youth and would have been ignorant a little bit longer. Now it's just like you're 5 and there's just videos about your parents hiding gifts, and like parents are putting videos on TikTok of them being Santa and being Santa for little Jimmy, and you're hoping little Jimmy doesn't ever find out that you made this video. Like, little Jimmy's friend has a iPad that he's on TikTok with, showing little Jimmy, hey, isn't that your dad?
That's true. I forgot about that. I forgot
You
everyone
don't
documents everything now.
Everything.
you don't want
Yeah.
to play the song Santa Claus was a black man and be like, that's me. You don't want to come into your kids like
Puts
room
on
and
a
say,
Santa Claus
and
suit.
you're welcome. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh
Well,
goodness.
and I love that. I love that, maybe because this some of those weird movements that exist where people are like, we shouldn't lie to our kids. Tell them Santa's not real. Tell them you're buying the gifts. I'm like, calm down. Let the kids have the Tooth Fairy and the
Yeah,
Easter Bunny.
exactly.
Like, what are you
No, make
talking
them
about?
adults now. Wait, and then
Yeah,
tell them, hey, don't be adults. You're doing too fast. Like, but you just told me.
some of those people online who talk
It's about
about
the
how,
spirit.
yeah, they're what is it? Thing honesty. What's the term? Radical honesty. They're raising their children with radical honesty. And I'm like, what does
Mm.
that mean? They're like, you're honest about everything. And I'm like,
Oh my
you
God.
have to lie to kids sometimes. I'm sorry.
You gotta
Yeah.
I think you do have to
Or
explain it
omit.
because there's the truth
Right.
and then the truth.
Right.
You shouldn't,
Ma-
hey little Jimmy, I heard that you're in punishment right now because you told your mom she was getting fat. Now, you shouldn't do that because that hurt her feelings. You understand what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
if I told you you were stupid because you couldn't play this video game, you can't even press A to save your life, you'd feel hurt, right? Exactly.
Exactly.
You don't.
Jaws is working out some stuff that he's wanted to say to some kids for a minute.
No, but I was hearing, like, I was watching a video and, like, I guess the joke slash scenario is like, how would you tell your wife she's getting fat? And he's like, I wouldn't do that. I would pull in a ringer and I would tell my kid to tell my mom, tell my wife that
Crazy.
that's the case, and I would
Crazy.
say, hey kid, I am hooking you up with
Using the
XYZ for like
kid
a
to
month
do
or
that
two
is
if you do this.
crazy.
Wild to
That's
think that
like-
someone would want to use their kid that way.
I was like,
Wow.
that's cold. That is, I mean, again, the person that I know that survived that
Yeah.
was Monique's husband.
Whose
And
husband?
Monique's husband. So remember Monique?
Monique, okay.
black comedian, and
Yeah.
you know, if anyone made fun of her weight, she let you get one.
Right.
Remember the Shaq roast? And
Right.
Jeff Ross, I think he got to Monique.
Roast
He did
master.
a fat joke. He was going back for Monique again, and she's like, she brought the mic close, move it along, and she was like, move it along, and he was like, all right, moving along. So he told
I'm
her,
actually shocked he didn't want to do another one because Jeff likes to push that line
no, but
so much.
You're gonna like yeah, you're gonna tell another fat, even though she told you, she warned you.
No, hey, you, me,
it was good
and
comedy though.
You and me and anyone in the black community gets that. Jeff Ross, when he does roast, does not seem to understand where the line is.
No, but he got it.
Okay,
like
good.
I said, he was going for it, and then she like emphasized harder, and he was like, moving on.
Yeah, that's funny.
But I remember she said, her husband sat her down and said, you know, honey, I love you. I would love you no matter what size you are, but I would like to love you for forever and not for a limited amount of time.
Right. Playing the health angle about the weight.
What?
Well, he's playing the health angle, like,
but the way she was saying it,
right.
it wasn't like oh yeah, he told me that. It was like she was very serious. It was a very hard. I'm sure there was some back and forth or whatever. I'm sure there's more behind it, but that was like the clef note she gave of it.
Yeah, I can only imagine it's difficult. Like, I had a friend who was telling me that his partner had put on quite a bit of weight, and to a point where he was concerned that the weight was due to that person feeling depressed because a lot of stuff had been happening in that person's life. And he was like, how do I approach them and discuss this with them in a way that they understand I'm here for you, I support you, I want to help you with whatever you're going through so that you can feel healthy. And also, you know, and I guess if anything, he knew well enough that working through the root issue would help with the health issue overall. So there wasn't even a need to talk about the weight. It was more just to try and help that. And I remember when he asked me, I was just like, homie, I have no clue. I told him straight up. I was just like, I don't know how you start that conversation with someone. Anytime that I've ever had that situation, I've said to my partner, maybe it's best if you talk to someone like a therapist or something. And my partner has told me, you do realize that is not the best answer every time someone feels like away. And I was just like, yeah, it's only because I don't know how to necessarily handle some of those situations.
Yeah.
So the sense of like panic is like, well, I don't want to leave you hanging with I don't know, but I also don't want to turn around and say, okay, you should do this, because I'm not a professional and I don't know if the way I'm guiding you is the right thing. So that's why the only thing I can think of is just like, maybe you should talk to someone. And sure, I understand though, I said it once, but I was saying it like every time, which I guess wasn't necessarily the most, you know me, like I said,
I mean, I guess it can kind of be looked at as like an easy
avoidance. Yes.
Yeah. Like an easy answer, just like, oh, well, go get help. Go talk to someone.
I know. And I felt bad when it was said to me, because I was just like, but I just don't know how else to address some of the things that you want to talk about.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
That I myself have no clue. And don't get me wrong, I listened. It's just that when it came time to like when it came to a moment where I felt like, oh, I feel like I should be offering a resolution here, it was just like, no clue what to do. I'm not a medical professional. I don't know. Blank.
Yeah.
Pure blank. My brain was like, it was just like a tiny violin going, you don't know. Like, that's all I had in my head. And I was just like, right. Maybe we talk to someone.
Oh my gosh.
Hey.
I get it.
Dave's in the house. Like we said, he was going to be here a little bit late. He's out there doing big business things. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing pretty good. Came home to an amazing delivery. Actually, you guys would probably appreciate it.
Oh, the score!
Nice.
He has the vinyl of the score, which is awesome. I have the
comic. It's the special orange edition.
So the vinyl's orange.
The vinyl's are orange. The orange like the
The colors.
the color, the
Yeah,
score
that
and
is
Fuji.
Sick.
dope.
Yeah.
So, are
Yeah.
you starting a vinyl collection?
Oh, I didn't hear that. Is he frozen?
I
He
don't
was
think
asking
so.
if you're starting a vinyl collection.
Oh, yeah.
I like that
Hardcore.
Ness was just
Sorry,
like,
so on my side, it went completely frozen for a second. It was probably just my internet for a moment. But yeah, no, dude, I have a pretty good collection. I got a turntable roughly at 2 months ago, and I'm like already at like, so for my birthday, a lot of people bought me some and whatnot.
Yes,
but I'm like
that's true.
I'm at like 50 vinyls
okay.
already, and
You're
like,
going hard
Wow.
early.
well, because I also went, like, example, I went to, they had a vinyl festival,
I
let's
know, right?
call it, in a church in Montreal.
Oh,
And I found
dude,
a vinyl that is usually marked around $50 to $100, and I found it for $15.
you're gonna
Nice.
be going up.
Wow.
First off, I'm gonna say congrats to you. Welcome to the addiction.
Oh,
Everyone
yeah.
I know who is into vinyl has said to me, it is not a game. This is life. And I'm always just like, y'all take this too seriously. So I wish you luck in this venture. If you want connects, I know a bunch of people. Ness, you know Pat at work. He is like one of the biggest crate
He's a vinyl
diggers.
collector.
Oh, he had thousands of vinyl. Like,
No
he
way.
had a whole room with this bookcase that I have behind me is the Kallax, but the old one used to be called the Expedit from IKEA, and that was like a
Wow.
vinyl collector's dream. It was
Mm.
considered
Cool.
the standard for vinyl collectors because you would slot your vinyl, straight. And he had, from what I understand, a wall of that full of vinyl.
Oh, it's
And
pretty,
then
pretty
yeah,
bad.
he decided to sell his collection at one point, which he regrets. He always
Well,
says
yeah.
he regrets, and he's trying to buy it back
Aw.
now. So he's in
What?
the
It's
same
all
streets with
more
you, Dave.
expensive.
It's hard. It's hardcore because the problem is it's when you start doing it, the second you start finding vinyl or albums that perfect example, this one, that front to
Before,
back,
yeah.
you don't have to change a song, because vinyls you can't fast forward, right? You could pause a
Right.
vinyl in the sense
Mhm.
the needle will lift,
Yeah.
but you can't actually fast forward or anything like that, unless you want to pick up the needle and try and guesstimate. But the thing is, like, I've gotten so many cool ones. Like, example, a buddy of mine got me the Michael Keaton Batman soundtrack.
Oh, dope.
Ooh.
That's
I got
awesome.
That's just a
the,
Prince album.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm down with that. I've gotten like a few key ones of my favorites. Like, I got my favorite Hives album, which is actually a pink see-through one. I got Sublime. I got.
Are you gonna try and get that special edition White Stripes one? That's like you can play it backwards, forwards. There's like, if you look at it when it's spinning, it creates an effect.
Which
that looks
album
like-
is that? Is it a specific
Oh, I
album?
think that's just what's his name's record label in general. What's the name of the
Yeah,
guy
but
from
there's a
White Stripe?
specific White Stripes, Jack White. But there's
Jack
a
White.
specific
I think he has
album.
several. Go on.
There's a specific album that has those features as the demo for things they did later on, but all of the stuff is in the one vinyl.
I
Like,
would
they put like all of it into
send that to me.
I'll try and find the video.
Send that to me.
Because I know in one of his albums, one of his solo albums, when you play it, there's like a little hologram that shows up on like either end of the vinyl, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And I was like, well, I'm never gonna actually have a vinyl player to play. Like, that's too much. I can't do all that.
Well,
So
for
it's
me,
You got to
it's
draw a line at some point.
Third Man Records
Yes,
is the
yeah.
record label, and then I think the album is Lazaret.
Lazaretto. Yeah,
Lazaretto.
that's a good album.
Yeah.
that's actually
actually-
ironic. That would be one of the albums of his that I would buy, because that's
And
that
I also stand corrected. It's one of his albums. It's not a White Stripes album.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But no, I've
And I
gotten
think one of the soundtracks for Star Wars has that, and they show like a little image
Ooh.
of an X-wing or something like that, like a wireframed X-wing or something.
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna read to you all the things on this vinyl, Dave.
I'm
You
down.
ready?
And also Third Man Records, one of the only, I guess, independent labels that are straight up printing vinyl records.
Yeah, they actually do vinyl for a lot of other people, specifically because no one else does
one's
vinyl.
doing it.
Yeah. Okay, so features on the Ultra LP for Lazaretto: 180-gram vinyl, 2 vinyl only hidden tracks hidden beneath the center labels. One hidden track plays at 78 RPMs, one plays at 45 RPMs, making this a 3-speed record. Side A plays from the inside out. Dual groove technology plays an electric or acoustic intro for just one drink, depending on where the needle drops. The grooves meet for the body of the song, meaning they have the two options depending on where you drop the needle, and then it merges into the full song. Yeah.
That is wild.
Matte finish on side B, giving the appearance of an unplayed 78 RPM record. Both sides end with a lock groove so that it just keeps rotating. Dead wax area on side A contains a hand-etched hologram by Tristan Duke of Infinite Light Science, the first of its kind on a vinyl record. Absolutely zero compression used during recording, mixing, and mastering. Different running order from the CD and digital version. LP utilizes some mixes different from those used on CD and digital.
Crazy.
So
That's wild.
I think
It's
I have
crazy.
that album on CD.
That's wild.
yeah,
Oh.
this is
But I've
technology
been-
is super interesting.
Oh, because like right now, like I'm not gonna like list all of them, but like I got like some key ones that I got other than the score. I got Metallica's S&M, which is when they play with the San Francisco Orchestra. I got that, which is a beautiful live album. I got Billy Talent's newest live album. I got like a bunch of Sheepdogs albums, including a recent live album. Like my stuff is a bit more, you guys know me, I'm a bit more rock, but I'm still collecting out like key albums. I'm trying to track down NERD is a really hard band to get the original albums from.
Like Pharrell's stuff.
really?
Like
Pharrell
and
stuff,
Chad?
yeah. It's really like there's one I found. I forget the name of the album,
can
but
see
it's,
that,
it's,
though.
it's a dude playing like video
Oh,
games.
it's the first album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and that
In
dude
Search
happens to
of.
be, yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the members of NERD, by the way.
Yeah. So there's that one. The only thing is like, that album is great, but it doesn't have my favorite song. Because my favorite song, I forget the actual name because I know it's called something else, but it's like the track is like everyone all the girls going to the bathroom. They keep.
Oh no, that's a later album.
Yeah, it's a later album. So like I'm trying, because one thing that's hard is that
I just want to mention Homeboy's name is Shay Haley, by the way.
Thank you.
The other member.
So for me, the only thing is like you're trying to find, because I'm trying to see if they by chance have a best of album, which I don't know if they've ever released. Because sometimes sometimes some vinyls, like example, one that I was trying to get was Fleetwood Mac, and I found that it's like, okay, they have the one album that is like one of their best albums, but then when you get their best of album, it's basically all the great other songs that you'd want. You don't need to get every other album.
Yeah.
Right,
So like I'm trying to be, I'm not trying to go crazy, because like
I don't.
Okay, well,
I could go crazy.
I'll tell you real quick. The album you're talking about is called, I just looked up right now, is called NERD Seeing Sounds. And then the name of the song is Everyone Knows All the Girls Standing in the Line for the Bathroom.
Yeah.
Cool. That's what were you about to say?
No, I was gonna say I don't think they have a best of album.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No.
I don't think we'll get one for a while because of what's going on between the two of them.
Yeah, I was just about to say Pharrell and Chad are
Oh,
duking it out, right?
right.
Legally over some
they
stuff.
ain't happy with each other. They not
That's
been
always
cool.
sad, man. Fleetwood Mac style too, right? Because you just mentioned them. There's always honestly, man, it is so funny to watch music. The music industry or any art industry is such a weird thing, because you usually start this with someone that you are of like mind with, who has an interest or a passion with
You're probably
you.
super close to them.
Close. Like the people I would start like making music with are only people that I'm like, yo, I trust you. Me and you, we got this. And then you start making the music, money comes into play, things cuts, percentages.
Maybe other people are getting in your ear and you're not
That's why they
talking to
say
your partner.
That's why they say don't work with your friends. It breaks friendships, breaks relationships too.
Because then people argue like, is it the voice? Is the voice bringing it in? Is the beat bringing it in? Like, they argue. People argue insanely.
And when it comes to NERD, I feel like I'm happy that Pharrell gets his flowers, but I think we can say Chad Hugo has been a solid producer. Like, you listen to those tracks, you listen to that music, and Shay Haley, like, they all put in their part and production wise made fantastic music. So I always wonder sometimes, like, what specifically causes, like, why Pharrell, why Beyonce in Destiny's Child, why X over the other people?
But I also
feel like
find
it's a-
oh, sorry, go.
Sorry, I was just gonna say I don't want to say it's like a luck thing, but at the same time, it's like most groups. There's always like one that ventures out into doing something else, doing something
Right.
different, and then it either takes off or it doesn't. And there's always like one of them that makes it, and the rest are just like in the shadows.
Simon
but
and Garfunkel, baby. You got
Oh.
Simon. Meanwhile,
Well,
Garfunkel.
Gwen Stefani and No Doubt.
Yeah.
Hold on,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
With Simon and Garfunkel, at least they got Garfunkel for Arthur when Buster Baxter came back. All right.
One could argue even Andre 3000 and Outkast. No,
Well, okay. See, that's a very
but
interesting one.
that's a very fine line. One is more pop,
I would-
and one is more. He still did stuff. But
I
one
would say with that, they respected each other enough to do Speaker Box and The Love Below together as Outcasts, knowing that they had both veered into different interests. I don't think one of them was more popular than the other because of skill. I think Big Boy was the extrovert and Andre is the introvert.
Yeah.
And that's why Big Boy became more visible. Meanwhile, people would say, and I don't think I'm speaking out of term, if y'all don't agree, that's fine. Andre is the better lyricist out of the two of them, in my opinion.
I wouldn't argue.
And then I also feel like Andre's like, I don't really have much else to say anymore.
Which he said
Like,
recently,
I
right?
feel like an old man, you know, like he's had features here and there,
Right.
and they were always great, but he just never felt compelled to put a whole rap album out anymore.
Right.
But am I wrong? Am I wrong to say that for their releases of albums, they have a lot of songs that repeat from album to album? No, am I wrong, or did I see that crazily on? Or maybe I saw it on a bad.
A lot of songs.
Looks like I thought I saw that, like, example Rosa Parks. I thought I saw go on multiple albums.
Oh,
or
really?
something like that.
Not
I don't know.
that
I don't think so.
I don't know.
No.
I could be wrong though. I mean, someone told me
there's probably a best of that has
maybe that's what I was.
Because I think
mixing
after
up.
Speaker Box, they did Idlewild, and then the soundtrack for Idlewild might have been like their best of, or maybe they had a best of after that or something.
Yeah, like they might have used some of their own songs on Idlewild, and and it's unfortunate that Idlewild is their like last collaboration, which was the soundtrack for a movie that that they
made,
which I don't think did anything. Did any numbers?
I think it was the fact that I remember that was like around the time when everyone got BET in Montreal and stuff, so you kind of knew.
What movie was this?
It was like a movie set in like a gangster era,
like 1950s,
I don't know what city. Yeah,
I'm gonna check.
Andre 3000 and like Big Boy kind of looks like
he's kind of like the gangster, like the smooth talking gangster guy, and then Andre 3000 was like a mortician.
Who's homeboy that we lost recently? Unfortunately, drug overdose. That used to be
Idlewild.
Idlewild's movie. IDLE Wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
You talking about the guy that played Omar?
Yeah.
Wire.
Why am I forgetting his name right now? My apologies. I know my friend is listening to this screaming his name right now because I know
K. Williams.
I knew it was Michael. I just couldn't remember his last name. Michael K. Williams. Like, you know how he is in Boardwalk Empire, like the suits and that look. That's kind of how Big Boy looked in Idlewild, and that's how I always remember. I always picture how Big Boy could have played a character like that on Boardwalk Empire because he had the look and the style and the swag. If I'm being honest.
I would say for NERD, I would say Pharrell liked being the more front man, and I think Chad just like preferred to be the background person. Like I don't think he really cared to really dive deep about stuff.
That's fair.
Even though he can, I think he can.
I'm sure he could.
2 interviews with them, like, ooh, you know, but.
And then who's the other? Will I Am for Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even Fergie tried, and Fergie was winning, and then she fell. She misstepped.
Wait a minute. Fergie has a great.
Fergie counts.
I don't like to
finish
count
that.
Fergie.
She has a great what?
She has a great album.
The Duchess.
Sure. Singular.
Good.
Singular.
The only reason I don't like to count her, and let me finish, is because she wasn't an original member of the group.
Oh no.
Ooh, it
No,
wasn't. She
Fergie got
wasn't.
added on so that they could have commercial pop appeal. She's not an original member of the group. And funny enough,
Here-
Black
here's a
Eyed
video.
Peas, yeah,
But she's
Black Eyed
still
Peas.
an OG.
No,
Well, yeah, she was a part of a girl group before. She was a part of a girl group before
No, I'm
that.
I'm
and I
trying to
think
say.
she was
I'm trying to say.
a Peanuts.
That's-
I think she was a child actor and she played a Peanuts character.
I was
back in
gonna
the day.
say,
No, but-
I know Ness means she's an OG Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah,
I'm
like
saying-
Black Eyed Peas was not Black Eyed Peas without Fergie.
Whoa, no, okay, we need to this. No, see,
Here
that's why I don't
comes
like
the old man rant. I'm
but
in that
it's
camp
not even
too.
an old. It's not even an old man rant. She joined
There was-
the group when they were already popping off,
Well,
and they were told to add.
No,
Dude, their
No,
album had
she-
charted,
okay,
and
hold
they
on.
were doing decent. Jaws.
they were doing decent for 2 albums.
Decent?
She
Right.
wasn't there. They had somebody else, and I think that person may have left the group. or
Another
they,
girl.
That person was never officially a member of the group. She
Right.
was working with them,
So
and they
rem-
didn't
so-
make her a member.
and then they also had a band too. They also had a band as well.
That used to go with them, right?
So,
But didn't
so
they
I
only
think-
pop off when Fergie joined?
Yes, because the label told them add a white girl to the group for a.
I know.
for
I'm not
pop appeal.
agreeing. Listen, I'm not agreeing with their decisions. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that.
But you're
I'm just
You're
saying
saying
that
they,
it did.
the Black Eyed Peas weren't the Black Eyed Peas until she joined. I'm saying the Black Eyed Peas did exist before she joined. and
Yeah,
they
yeah. I
got-
didn't mean literally. I meant like.
Yeah.
I meant like everyone knew them when she was a part
Afterwards,
of
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yes, because a marketing machine said,
Yeah,
"Hey, we're
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
mark you." But guess what? Had the marketing machine tried to market them without her, which other groups have done, the
Then they
Roots,
could've been-
anyone,
Yeah.
like they would have
exactly,
been
that's
okay.
true. But
Well-
I'm not mad at it because she's good in it. She's good in Black Eyed Peas.
And
so like,
to be fair, I think was it so there are 3 and there's 4. I would say the 5th member is Justin Timberlake. To be very honest with you,
Yes, because
What?
that single is what? Where's the love?
Where's the
with Justin
love?
Timberlake
That's
is-
where they
that's what
really
launched them.
oh
blew up.
God.
Where's the love?
Yeah,
is
yeah,
really
exactly.
where
If you're gonna,
exploded.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
I'll
come
put it
on.
this way:
That's like
if
a
we're
fifth
gonna include
member.
Fergie, if
No,
we're
but I
including
said 5th.
Fergie,
I said 5th member.
No,
so I'm saying
if we're including
would
Fergie, we're
you-
including Justin. That's what I'm gonna say.
No.
I'm agreeing. I'm kind of agreeing with Ness. They didn't really blow up because I already had the 2 other albums before that. I was
So did
already
I,
feeling
yeah.
them and everything. But like they really exploded after like
Yeah.
Fergie and Justin. They did that one song, and I mean, 9/11. But yeah, so trying to bring everyone together, kind of thing.
Yeah, we're
So
not
elephant-
saying the
elephant, right?
reasonings are good. It's just like,
Real quick, so Lee J is saying here that Nicole Schlesinger, I guess, from the Pussycat Dolls, was supposed to be,
oh right.
and I have heard
she
her
was
talk
origi-
about that.
She was the original consideration, but then she did Pussycat
Really?
Dolls, and she's like, fuck
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, so
Basically.
she was supposed to be.
I don't think she would suit. Like I feel like Fergie worked because she was a bit like quirky and like had like her own. Like she wasn't just like a blonde girly girl. Like I feel like she had a
Yeah.
bit more.
I see what you mean. Like she kind of
she
flowed
can
with the
actually
group.
sing, or
But she could sing. But I'm saying her style was she was a little edgy. Like it wasn't like.
I mean,
Like
Nicole.
I feel like Nicole suits Pussycat Dolls, but I can't see Fergie in Pussycat Dolls. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like-
okay. Because I was gonna say Nicole is supposedly one of the best mimics in the game.
Of
Like she
Fergie?
can. No, Nicole Schlesinger.
Yeah.
Schlesinger? Supposedly she's one of the best mimics, as in she can sing and like she can sing like almost
Oh,
anyone.
really?
She can sound like almost anyone.
No, but I'm speaking in terms of like the whole package because we're talking about pop stars here. Like she's her look is very sex symbol. You know, people are gonna be
Well, so
attracted to what she looks
Wasn't
like. And
that what
Fergie is
Fergie
more,
was too?
Well, I guess in the sense of what the Black Eyed Peas were adding.
My
a woman
lovely
was,
lady
like,
lumps. I mean, I feel like they were definitely
Yes.
leaning into her sex
Yeah,
appeal.
but her
I just
style.
literally
I feel like
thought
her
that.
style was not. It wasn't the same as like Pussycat Dolls. Pussycat
No,
Dolls
no,
was
for sure,
very
for sure,
focused
for
on
sure.
like
Mm.
sex and
Oh,
like
for sure.
Loosening
girly.
up buttons and stuff.
Exactly.
Christina,
Whereas like
Christina
Fergie was-
Aguilera's "Dirty" walked so that the Pussycat Dolls could run. That is 100% what that was. They saw that.
I don't know
song
though,
do
because
well.
Christina also ran. Like she walked
Yeah,
and
true.
then
Yeah,
ran too.
true, yeah, true.
What was that song again? Candyman.
Oh yeah,
singing
Candyman.
like a grandparents. Boobada wee bop bop bop. Nope, it's about sex.
In a tight dress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I don't know. Fergie
That's
was like
funny.
more. She reminds me of. She had a. I feel like her style was similar to Gwen Stefani, like a edgy.
Yeah.
You
That
know,
I
like
mean
rock
that era.
pop
punk.
style
Yeah.
punk.
I would say I get what you're saying. I think anyone in that era was being like marketed and like made up that way.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's
100%.
what was appealing. So they're just like, okay, this kind of aesthetic is working on so many demographics. Every
Yeah.
female artist now that we want to make pop wise, we're gonna have a girl with 3 guys around her, and here we go. And you got Gwen, and you got Fergie, and you got whoever else was doing that thing. So I mean,
Yeah.
I do
But they're
like
like your typical American girl. I don't think. But maybe I'm just.
I do feel like something that was good about that Fergie era was that we got Sergio Mendes out of it too.
Okay.
For some reason, like Will.i.am was like, yo, let's bring in Sergio, like classic dude, Sergio Mendes. And you're like, oh, okay. And let me look up his, oh, he did Mengaling. Oh, I know that song from back in the day.
I think
Yeah.
when it comes to the Black Eyed Peas, as much as we hate on, at least I hated on the commercialization of the group, because when you listen to their old music and then you listen to the like Fergie Justin era move off, they literally had songs talking about how much you shouldn't be in the machine, and then we're in the machine.
But
Yeah, like in the pop music, they have songs like their earlier albums have. I'll try and find the name of the song.
It's kind of like when Beyonce says independent women and then put a ring on it. It's a little,
Oh,
it's
contradictory.
Reverse of what you're trying to.
I'm trying to find the name of that specific album.
There's Joints and Jams, Real Hip Hop. I think that was the second album.
Yeah.
But I think I remember there was an interview with Will.i.am, and I think he was talking to the head of Interscope, and he was like, "Yo, man, how come we're not popping off or anything like that?" And he's like, "Well, you need to act like you don't have the factor to bring girls to you,
right?
So you need a girl. Like you're just 3 dudes."
They have a song called "Get Original" with Kali Tuna from Jurassic 5. Which was released in 2000 on the album Bridging the Gap, which is funny because now that I think about it, I'm like, oh, that's what they were telling us. They're bridging the gap between their old stuff and how they're about to blow up. Because Bridging the Gap was super popular at the time when it dropped in 2000, and like had like their music videos had a lot of video play.
Yeah.
And then the next albums became like they had a song called Weekends with Estero that was super popular. That I would say. If you didn't know them from,
tell your mama come and your papa come, jump and music. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
DJs. Yeah. If you didn't know them from the Fergie era, you probably knew them from the track Weekends. Is off of that album, because that was the like, when you see, when they show you that graph of Mariah Carey getting and the popularity of All I Want for Christmas, and it kind of just. So Weekend was that slight curve up, and then Fergie joins, and I guess it makes sense because the labels saw that song Weekend work so well, and they're just like, oh, when you have a woman sing the hook, people want to listen to your music. You need a woman on your hook. And they were just like, say less, Fergie. And then next thing you know, we got what we got. And I say this as someone who waited in line outside of a Best Buy for maybe 5 hours to get tickets to their show at the Bell Center when they had free tickets that one time. So,
oh wow,
young Brian was a fan, but
I would have loved to see them.
Well, yeah, because I think
it was a good show and it was free. You just had to stay in line.
Wow.
Yeah, they're all breakers.
Yeah, they're all breakers. Yeah,
they are the original. Like they're old school 5 elements of hip hop. Like one of them did graffiti. One of them, like they were all breakers. They all like to rap. They MC like the
Will.i.am produced.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is, and this is going to be the greatest one because Ness, if you know this, I'd be super impressed because I don't think many people know this. Will.i.am produced Brian Austin Green from 90210, the original 90210's album. when it came.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's so. Will.i.am.
I mean, I knew he
not,
was a producer, but I never really like. I never really looked into his work, like what he
Yeah.
did in the past, besides Black Eyed Peas.
That should have been a sign that he was willing to do pop when he did
Anything?
the album for I didn't want to say anything because I knew I would look bad if I said it. But
I mean, but we all know Will.i.am. Like everyone knows what he's about, you know. Like,
Will.i.am's about
secret.
making money.
Yeah.
And I know, and to be honest, it's not a bad thing.
He's
I
not
just think
been
it's
shy
funny.
about it.
No, it's
like
a hustle.
seeing the yeah. You know what? We all want to make money. What am I saying?
But
let's not
here's
pretend.
here's the hard thing. Name a band that you know that disbanded that everyone was successful afterwards.
Oh, okay. Wait, okay, hold on. What level of success? Because I could name the Beatles right off rip, and people are going to say, well, Ringo wasn't as successful. Ringo had solid success by the
Shining
by the
Time
metrics.
Station. Shut up.
I was going to say, by
Conducted.
the metrics of the era he was in, Ringo did well.
I would count that. Like example, I
Okay.
would count. I would argue and it's ironic because it's right beside me. The Fugees, ironically, when they disbanded, there were three. All of them.
Pros didn't do as long, but he did have a hit.
Yeah, it's
Ghetto
like,
Superstar did well.
Yeah,
like a one-hit wonder.
Well,
damn, Ness, I didn't want
No,
to
I'm
say it.
asking.
No, Pros had 2 hits, so not one hit
Oh,
wonder. He had Ghetto
Jaws is like
Superstar,
2.
Ghetto Superstar,
Yeah.
and he had Avenues. Where he
Oh
sampled-
yes,
but if they
wanna
decide
walk
to
down
quit,
Yeah.
to electric, that
Oh,
was a good.
right.
That was
Yeah.
a jam.
Yeah.
That Jaws.
that
Cheers.
that
That's
was
fair.
But at the same time, like example,
Okay.
if you disband, but if you're successful still in the business, because you might not sing no more, but let's say you produce instead,
Yeah,
Oh,
would say
that would
the
still
Police.
count.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I would say the Police.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So Sting, I know the drummer, and I know the drummer started doing music, movie scores. I think the drummer or the
Genesis
bassist.
also?
and the
I was
bassist
about
went
to
on
say,
do a bunch
if
of-
you're the second you said
Genesis
Police,
also,
Genesis would be definitely, because people always, they're one of those bands that when they disperse, everyone liked them individually,
Okay.
and then they're all begging them to come back.
Okay, can I say this though? Let's try and stick contemporary because we're
Yeah,
old
because
heads.
yeah,
we just
exactly.
named 2 old bands that I'm like, people are like, who's Genesis? Phil Collins, y'all. Look it up.
Yeah,
If
educate
you have a
yourself.
No, what about before Phil Collins? Before Phil Collins was the drummer. What about the guy Peter Gabriel? There you go.
Yeah, Peter Gabriel.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
No,
I'm
they
old.
all did great. Yeah.
You guys are losing me.
Us festival,
I know.
everybody.
Hold on.
You're losing
Sooner,
me.
guys.
You're
Sooner.
Ness
losing
is our
me.
metric for
Sooner.
how far we've gone. Ness is just like, who y'all talking about? We've lost it. Let's get back to more contemporary bands, more contemporary groups that have been all the members split off and had some
What
level of success.
question? What
Yeah.
bands exist? Do bands even exist in a contemporary format?
That's
anymore?
true.
Yeah, that is true.
That's
Maybe
true.
the internet. Sid's doing their own thing.
And Steve Lacey.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Steve
pretty
Lacy.
good. Steve
That's
Lacey
the
and
most I
Sid.
think I got.
Yeah, but that's only 2 though. I don't.
Yeah, how many members were in the internet?
They were
quite
a
a few.
lot. They were a
Okay,
lot.
but hold on. Would you consider Odd Future a group? Because then if you say
Yes.
Odd Future,
Oh,
almost
true.
They're a
because Odd
concept.
Future has Tyler, Frank,
Yes.
Domo Genesis, Earl Sweatshirt.
I would say that's a good.
Was Frank
Sid.
officially a part or just kind
No,
of?
sorry,
no,
yeah,
he was
yeah,
a part.
yeah.
He was a part.
That Wu-Tang Clan type
I'm thinking
I'm
of
with the crew, but
Vince
not.
Staples. He wasn't officially a part, but he's
True,
still kind
true,
of
true.
adjacent.
Yeah.
But was that
Would you
considered
argue
like a
Wu-Tang?
group?
So I consider Odd Future a collective. The
That's what I
way
was gonna
that
say. I think they're more of a collective, kind of
Yeah.
like Brockhampton, where it was like in and out members.
Yeah.
Like it's just.
yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily a group.
Okay,
but-
so we're not counting collectives because then Wu-Tang would count. But
Yeah,
so we're
because
not
I was
counting
gonna
collectives.
say Wu-Tang for sure.
Well,
what's the
Wu-Tang
cutoff
is a
for-
group
Well, that is
though.
the group. Yeah,
Wu-Tang is
that's
a group though. They
Like, they
sell
were
themselves.
all pretty. I don't.
But how about this?
I
Did
mean,
Odd Future. We'll put it this way: you have to have released an album under the group.
Okay,
as the group, yeah.
that makes a group.
Oh,
yeah.
or do you want to say you have to have released a track as the group? Because Wu-Tang
Yeah.
definitely has songs where all the members rap. I don't know if Odd Future has one where every member of the crew raps or sings.
Mm.
That's the one thing. So I would say maybe that's the line.
But a song, I don't know, because a song could be. I don't know.
Because again, like
Who decides?
my question still stands. Like, are there any bands left? Really?
Right.
Record labels ain't looking to pay a bunch of people.
What
they're
was-
I
looking to pay
mean,
one.
guys, we might have to give it to Odd Future though, because Odd Future, all the members legit have done at least something. You have Haji, who ended up married to Nelly Furtado randomly. I know.
Oh,
most
wow.
people-
What?
I know most people don't know that, but he was married to Nelly Furtado for a minute, which is great. Congrats to him.
Wow.
You have Earl Sweatshirt, you have Sid the Kid, you have Tyler the Creator, you have Taco Bennett, who ended up being an actor and was on Little Dicky's show, Dave. You have El Boy, who is El Boy who I think he is. Yeah, El Boy's the dude on The Bear. That's what I thought.
Oh,
Lionel
right,
Boyce.
okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I was just like, I knew him from somewhere, but until we just looked him up right now. So we have Frank Ocean. Jasper was only on the show. Mike Left Brain, I only know from the show. Okay.
So we're only talking success in the art
Damn.
industry and not just music.
Oh,
Well,
I would say
This is
Destiny's
gonna
Child
have
I would
counts.
say just throw out good examples if you can.
We might have to make this a separate whole episode because we have to
So much
figure
to
out,
unpack here.
yeah, we have to figure out what we're gonna set the measurement by. Like, what is success? Are we sticking it only to the field? Like, what, for example, this is a weird example, but homie from the Goonies ended up becoming an entertainment lawyer, and I know that's not music related, but
Oh,
would you consider someone who in the group became an agent or a talent
Yeah.
agent or
Yeah,
A&R?
they're still in the business, but they're not
Right.
front facing.
But there's
Right.
also there's
But that's what I'm
also,
saying, because then we would have to do research because there's tons of groups where we probably don't
Yeah.
know them by
I was
name.
gonna say, like I said, Destiny's Child, but like I guess Destiny's Child 2.0 after
Right.
they started
Yeah.
shedding people and
Yeah.
and stuff like
Well,
that. So
Well, it's because it's like because the also thing is like what defines like again, do
Success.
you do band or do you do collaboration? Because like example, like one that just like threw in my head, it's like example, the song Northern Touch. That was known as like a song, like just
Well, that's
a song,
separate
right?
people though. They're not a group.
They
At no
weren't the
point
group,
did,
right?
yeah, they were never
they
considered
were
a
never
group.
collaboration mode. It was
I
just
think
one
no,
song?
yeah,
no,
I
it was
think
just
it was called
just a
Canadian All
collective.
Stars.
It was like a collective of
Yeah.
them, but they only did one song and
Okay,
Yeah.
because I was like, it's hard to define. Maybe
Rascals?
may opened up too big of a rabbit hole.
Well, the only reason I say Odd Future is because Odd Future actually released like mixtapes. I don't know if they ever released albums though. So that's what I'm trying to see right now. Odd Future discography, studio albums. Okay, so yeah, the one studio album they had was 2012. The label was Odd Future. The OF Tape Volume 2, which was after the mixtape, I presume. And that went to number 5 in the States.
wow.
That's pretty good for a bunch of kids who were crazy at the time. My God.
and you got what's his name, Mos Def yelling out swag, swag.
That's crazy. Yeah, so their mixtapes were Odd Future Tape and Radical in 2010. 2008 for Odd Future Tape, 2010 for Radical. Compilation 12 Odd Future songs in 2011. And then in 2012, Odd Future Tape Volume 2 was an actual studio album. So I guess essentially the difference is that they got clearance for stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then that's it. My God, the group is huge though. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of kids on that stage.
Yeah. Because I used to love Mellow Hype, which was Haji and Left Brain. Their stuff was good. That's why I knew that Haji had married Nelly Furtado, because I kept up with his music. But then you have okay. Well, I Smell Panties was the name of a group which was made up of
I don't think that counts.
which is made up of Jasper Dolphin and Tyler the
That's
Creator.
amazing.
They're so
That's
silly.
amazing.
Well, remember what
What a
Method Man
name.
said his original name, what he wanted his original name to be?
What
He
did you
didn't want to
want
be
it
Method Man. He wanted to be the Panty Raider.
Oh no.
Oh
my
Oh
God.
no.
I'm
That would
so
not have
happy
worked.
That would
I'm
that
so
would have
happy that
rhymed
didn't
like
work out.
Yeah.
like
Can you-
MOTHD man, whatever.
Yeah.
like,
Can you
Wayne
imagine the
Sizzle.
career if he would have had he used
Oh,
panty?
God.
There would not
Lord.
have been one, bro. There
Yeah,
would've-
that's what I'm saying.
It would've
Wu-Tang
been-
as we know it would not exist.
He working at like a strip club or something now or some shit.
No,
Like,
what did he say? He said he'd probably working at a parking lot. He'd be a parking lot attendant. No, he said he would be working at
well, in the show
at
he
the
works
Statue
at
of Liberty.
Yeah, in the show he works at the Statue of Liberty. I was gonna say.
No, but he said like if he didn't rap, he didn't act any of that. He was like, hey, right this way, you see the Statue of Liberty.
Did he work at the statue in real life though?
think
Because on
so.
the show he does. Okay, that's funny.
I think he legit. So he's just pulling from
Yeah,
memory.
real life. He's like, I probably would have just ended up staying there, dealing weed on the side, which was hilarious.
With that name?
That's funny.
Yeah. Guys, we have so many things we were supposed to talk about that we are an hour in and didn't even touch. One thing I feel like we should at least talk about: Transformers 40th anniversary event. Jaws, you put it down, but funny enough, Janessa and I both went to the screening at Cineplex.
Nice.
Were you there?
Too?
No, I was at the Forum.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where we went.
Oh,
That's where we went.
I went
That's
on a
the Forum.
Sunday though.
Oh,
What
we
day
went
did
on the
we go again?
Saturday.
Oh yeah,
I went for a bike ride first thing in the morning. So, and then I met you
Yeah.
guys up. That was the Saturday. Cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it because I know Ness has thoughts. Ness
I'm curious to hear this. Let's do this.
Ness had things to say.
First of all,
Wait,
I
have you ever
loved
seen
it.
it before?
No, it was my first time. But I love Transformers. I'm a Transformers fan, which is
Right.
why I went, because I was like, oh, this would be great
Right.
to watch.
Shout
First of all,
out
I
to the
thought it
homie
was-
Hannah who invited us.
Yes,
Aw.
Hannah's the one that told us about it, and we
Yeah.
went. So I thought it was the movie. I didn't know
Yeah.
it was the
A
show.
lot of people thought it was the movie.
I
going
really,
Yeah.
in.
I forgot that the movie came out in '86. So
Yeah. So it's
I-
not
Afterward,
40 years
yeah.
yet.
yeah. So when I saw 84 and 40th anniversary, my brain should have done the math, but instead I was just like, the movie. And then I got there and I was like, oh, I'm just as happy. So
So wait, how
I just
many
assumed, yeah.
how many episodes did they show?
4.
4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the first original 4 or
The
like
first
original
original
4.
3. And then, first
Oh, yeah.
original 4.
Right. It
But-
was so even I went with a Proto Man friend of the show, and he mentioned like the 4th episode they showed isn't technically the 4th episode.
Right. It's
Oh.
weird that I remembered that. That's why I was like, yeah.
Why?
I don't remember. I just remember.
What is
Uh,
it then?
I'm trying to check now.
I
Is
think
it like a filler?
I can't remember either. Like I know he was going to mention it, and I was like, no, it's fine, it's fine. But it's
Oh,
I'm
not.
trying to look it up because I know there's a reason. Like, because one of the things is there's a difference between production order and release order. So
Mm.
sometimes when you watch a
Oh.
show, the production order or like what you get on the DVD might be different from how they aired the episodes in what order. And
Ugh,
I
I don't
think
like
what
that.
we saw was the 4th produced episode,
Yeah,
but what
Oh.
aired was not necessarily that episode.
because
But
then
it's
also
still continued.
yeah, because
Well,
I
I
think
mean, it's- yeah.
because I remember from what Proto Man mentioned, it seemed like they might have used the old Rhino version and not the newer Shout Factory, which fixed all the mistakes and stuff like that.
Okay.
That would have been there.
Oh, okay.
But you know,
Hmm.
it's whatever they have on hand, I guess. And I don't know if they still have the rights to that Shout Factory stuff or they don't, or wherever that kind of lies. But it was super cool. It was basically the 40th anniversary of the TV show. So they showed the first 4 episodes, and in the first episode, they did like a live table reading with a good chunk of the voice actors that appeared in those episodes. So the list was Peter Cullen, Frank Welker, Greg Berger, Dan Gilvezan, Michael Bell, Paul Lighting, all playing
Legends.
their characters technically, but some
Yeah.
of them
They were
like,
also doing filler voices, which
they're
was
doing
great.
filler voices. So like Greg Berger is like famously Grimlock, but Grimlock
Yeah.
doesn't show up in the first 4 episodes, but he's still doing like filler characters here and
Yeah.
there. Paul Lighting plays Perceptor again. That character does not show up, but you know, still playing filler characters. And then they also had 2 other voice actors, 2 newer ones. Well, not new to the game, but to working together with the original voice actors. One of them is Frank Todaro, sorry, Frank Todaro, and Arif S. Kitchen. So Aaron
Some of those names.
S.
don't-
Kitchen plays Jazz. Because obviously, Skyman Crullers is no longer
yeah,
with
he's
us,
passed, yeah.
and Frank Todaro, I think, played he played Starscream, and I think a few other characters too. So I thought that was really cool for the first episode. You got to see them all in the room, like they used to do back in the day.
Wasn't
And
it
what was
great?
super cool was I thought when Frank was Tadaro was talking with Frank Welker, who's playing Megatron, and Tadaro was like really acting, like you see him looking up from the paper, looking towards Frank Welker, and then you kind of see Frank Welker kind of get into it. He's looking up from his paper and kind of acting with them a little bit. I thought that was really, really cool, and they caught
Janessa,
that on film.
Do you want to tell us how you felt about that?
Who, me or
no, Janessa?
I'll go for it.
Listen, I liked the table reading. I didn't like watching the episode with the table reading. That's what I didn't like. I thought it was fun to see them like in their element of the show, and them it was taking them back. It was like it was nice, reminiscing, nostalgic, whatever. But watching the episode for the first time with the table reading on the side was so distracting. Like
that was a hard butt.
I
chewed on that butt.
Well, thank you for saying it, because I wanted
that's
to say
a Fergie-sized butt.
That
right
is
there.
that is a boulder of a butt right there.
No, I did enjoy it. It was just too distracting. Maybe because it's the first time I'm watching it. I couldn't feel what you guys are feeling, because you watched it before. For you,
that's okay.
Because
I
then
didn't
also
take it
too,
was consideration before.
Also too, on top of it, like I think the Transformers channel on YouTube were like, I think for a bit we're showing all the episodes, we're streaming all the episodes of G1 for a while. So it's just like you could kind of go back and watch it, but then also it's like, well, it's like it's been 40 years. Everyone kind of knows, everyone comes over, and like these guys go to conventions and people are telling them the lines and all that kind of stuff. So like,
I'm just glad it wasn't all 4 episodes.
So it was so funny.
One of them was fun.
We were in the theater when we left. I was just like, man, I really thought that was the movie. And I was like, but it was great to watch those episodes. And then Jess was like, yeah, it was pretty fun. I never seen those. And our friend Hannah's just like, yeah, thanks guys. This was so much fun. And then I was just like, it was cool seeing those old guys doing their thing. And Janessa's just like, I don't know. And then the energy was so funny, because the energy was like, I mean,
no.
Well, to let you know, all those,
just because it was distracting. It wasn't.
I
was
like bugging you.
It wasn't bad.
A good chunk of those guys do a lot of voice work.
But
go ahead, Dave.
The OG series, though, right? Because they've had so many series, right? Because there's original series. Does it end with the movie, or does it continue after the movie? It
continues after the movie.
Yeah.
So you have the 85 movies with Unicron. And then it goes into season 3, because they're well into the future at that point.
And then you don't have any more. Oh, and then when the episode that they come back is when they revive.
Well, Optimus dies in the movie. Yeah. Hot Rod gets the spark.
Yeah.
Or the Matrix.
The Matrix.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of episodes, and then at some point later on in season 3, they revive Optimus Prime back again.
Yeah.
Because do you recall, because the irony, so I've been starting to watch some shows I've been catching up on. Like I'm like this close to getting done Letterkenny and things like that.
Nice.
But like I'm like I want to watch something vintage, and I don't want to go back to my usual animated shows I watch. But I was like, how many episodes is the original Transformers? Because Transformers and G.I. Joe, I'm debating on rewatching the OGs.
Well, I know G.I. Joe, you got 2 different series. So like with G.I. Joe, I can't remember, it's like one's called The Real American Hero, and then there's G.I. Joe. So G.I. Joe is with Sunbow and Marvel Entertainment. And I think The Real American Hero is like a second series that's done by Geek Entertainment, I think.
Okay.
So
there's 98 episodes.
For Transformers.
Yeah, 60 in season 1, 49 in season 2, 30 in season 3, and 3 in season 4. So I guess they just had a wrap up.
And then there's only one movie?
Film. And one movie, yeah.
One movie, which came out August 86.
So maybe that's the thing. Because I've been tempted to start cycling through my other stuff, but I'm like,
yo, that was some smart spiral. That was a smart plan too. The movie comes out August 86, then season 3 premieres September 15th, 86.
Yeah.
Boy, they
know what they're doing.
I know. But like, can you imagine how bad can you imagine how bad those kids were when they knew they needed to understand what was going to happen at the beginning of the season? Mommy, we got to go see the movie. We got to go see the movie. Mommy, we got to go see the movie. We got to go see
I think you're like, oh, there's a Transformers movie. Let's go see it. You know, you're having that Bambi moment.
Oh yeah, that was cruel. Yeah,
But imagine that poor kid who because there was no internet back there, right? So
Yeah.
there's for sure some.
I mean,
kid
there
out
was,
there.
but the government was hiding it from us. No, I'm
Oh my
joking.
God,
Sorry.
stop the conspiracy stuff. That's let me make my point.
Conspiracies. I'm joking. No internet back then.
Imagine that one kid back then who
Yeah.
didn't know about the movie,
Oh.
watches season 2,
Cruel.
and at the beginning of season 3, he's like,
What
the
the fuck?
What the hell happened to Optimus? What happened? Why does he have the spark? What,
Who the fuck's Galvatron?
There'd be so many questions.
Who's
So many
Rodimus
questions.
Prime?
Yeah, who are these
Oh,
people?
Who the fuck?
Why are you here?
Where's this older guy that's not Sparkplug? Where's Sparkplug? Where's his dad? This guy's not chunky at all.
Yeah.
Where's Daniel?
Oh my god. So
Why is there a
good.
girl transformer?
Yeah, RC. Yeah,
So
true.
funny. Oh,
They're
It
trolling.
was
they're
really
trying
cool
to
though.
Yeah, it was cool. It was. I gotta say,
Just-
the funniest part was watching the trailers before and me
So
looking
much
back
ads.
because Janessa and Hannah were sitting behind because I couldn't get the seats next to them. But I kept looking back, being like, "Yo, there's a lot of ads," because they played ads for every single new product
Wow.
they were gonna have.
Yeah.
They were
And I
really
get it.
selling
Yeah,
hardcore.
yeah. But it was intense.
For
was
me,
really
I liked
intense.
it. For me, it reminded me of going to TFCon and you're there for the script reading.
Yeah.
It just really felt like a script reading, but they're reading the first few episodes, where the script reading is more a bespoke script that's made for all the voice actors that are there that weekend, kind of thing.
Oh, cool.
So I thought that was pretty cool. And
Oh, wait, as in they write a script, like a new story?
yeah, a new story for
Oh, cool.
everyone. They write a new story. And
That's so
Frank's
cool.
been to TF cons. All those guys have been to TF cons except Arif, and seeing Frank Totaro, he's one of the newer guys. He's done
Yeah.
the Transformer stuff on Netflix and all that kind of stuff, and seeing him work
He
with
was a
them,
dude with the,
he's
like,
talked to
punk-
them a lot, and I thought it was really cool that he got to work with them. So
Steampunk glasses, dude, right? With the
yes,
mustache,
exactly
yeah.
that guy. Yeah, he's
Yeah, so
super
if
nice.
if anyone got to see the 40th anniversary, that dude, yeah, he was pretty cool.
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff. I think he's in Cuphead and a bunch of other stuff too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yo, did you guys? I won't get into it, but supposedly they drew every panel of Cuphead by hand. I didn't realize they did that by hand.
What?
That is yeah.
Cuphead is intense. That game is fucking nuts.
Contra style.
And
way.
the woman who did the lines, like the inking in black, she did all of them by herself.
Oh wow.
So not
The
only did they
outlines?
have people draw, she had to do the ink on all of it, which when I heard that, I was like, that is insane to consider how long that must have taken. But kudos to them because it's so
Have
good.
you guys ever played that game?
I have not,
No.
no.
No,
I
not
just
yet.
watched
I
the
want
videos
to,
for
but I'm
it.
like,
It is-
Contra.
It's not even Contra. It's how it's drawn. You don't really have a sense of what the background is and what, how when you play a
There's
video,
no depth.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
in Contra, the background is let's say faded, where you are darker colored and whatever you're interacting with is a darker color, right? They don't really have that. So
Oh, weird.
it's more. I compare it to Edge of Tomorrow. You have to keep playing the level over and over and over again to know where to go and stuff, and
Great
find
movie,
the
by the way.
pattern, and then beat the level.
Yeah,
I've never
I would
played
definitely say that's what Contra was, where if you weren't learning the level and learning where bad guys come in and where they phase in from, if you're not paying attention to that, your eye kind of wanders a bit and you're dead because a stray bullet hits you and stuff like that. Definitely Contra style.
This is why I couldn't play some of these games. Y'all describe that, and that sounds like torture playing these games where
But Cuphead's just like Contra. It's definitely a 2-player game. If you beat that game single, you either have too much time on your hands or you're the best video game player that there
they
is.
give you the glove because you're that good.
It's just repetition.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I'm replaying Miles Morales Spider-Man right now so I can finish it before I play Spider-Man 2 because I have that also. So that's where my head's at right now. Guys, we are at the PS5. It is crazy when I think about how when we were kids, I remember my dad telling me on my NES, what are they at? 8-bit? Yeah, they'll probably be at 64-bit by the time you're my age. And then now we're like, way past that, sir. Like,
It don't matter.
What a
anymore.
pipe
It's
dream.
about ray tracing, old man.
like 64 was when I was still in high school. Like they got to 64 in 10 years. Like I was 16. Like it's crazy. So sometimes these video game consoles, I'm both excited and
It's about teraflops.
yeah.
It's about teraflops, man.
They're just making their stuff stronger and stronger. That Unreal 8 engine is anytime I see anything in that, I'm like
8 or 5?
Say what? Sorry,
8? You sure it's 8?
What?
Unreal?
No. I didn't say a number for Unreal.
Oh, okay. I thought you said number 8. I was like, what?
No,
Unreal 8?
I was
Red
just
8?
saying Unreal Engine. Like whenever I watch videos that are done in that, like I think someone did a Superman game.
Oh, yeah.
No, they did the Matrix game. Someone did a
the
demo
Matrix.
for what a Matrix game could look like
Oh
in
my
Unreal.
God.
And I was like, holy shit,
Mhm.
this might as well be a movie. Please just make this a movie.
Ironically, that game's Enter the Matrix as Neo is a very dope ass game.
Oh, yeah? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a very that's like a PS2. Yeah. They had 2 Matrix games, one that was like being Neo and one that was like just being the other characters. Screw the other characters. One that being Neo is there you do with levels that aren't part of the story because like they do filler, like what you would not have seen.
Which is cool.
But some of them were really out there. You fought like ants at one point. It was weird.
No, I know.
He fought
I know
ants,
the
which is
ending.
weird.
The ending's way different. And what's funny is like you see all of a sudden it cuts, and then it's like a white screen, and then these 2 little like 2-bit characters, and they're Wachowski siblings, and they're like, "Hey, we're the Wachowski siblings." So we wanted to do something a little bit different in the game because this is what we actually had in mind compared to what we had in the movie.
Oh,
So
interesting.
Here's what we cooked up for you. All right, enjoy. And it goes back to the game, and what ends up happening is all the Agent Smiths in the world combine together to make this like weird giant Agent Smith,
that
and
makes
then
sense.
Neo I think gets big, and then they have like this big kaiju battle in the city.
That, you know what? Now that you've said that, I could see that that's what they were trying to do in the third movie. Like when they're all there together, I would expect a merge and a kind of kaiju moment because the whole city gets blown out. Smith's taken over everybody, and then you understand that Neo. It's like, oh, Neo can do anything. So yeah, he could supersize himself, That's crazy. But yeah, okay. Well, we'll just the last take on the Transformers 40th anniversary event. Super fun. I thought that was cool. I look forward to. I imagine they're going to do a 40th event for the movie in 2 years.
I hope so.
I did like that they did an in memoriam though.
Yes,
did really
that was very nice
at
too.
the end, and I was like, yeah, there's a lot of people that that show came out 40 years ago, and a lot of people were well into their into their careers and stuff like that, and passed on. So I thought that was a good thing to kind of keep their memories front of mind.
Dave, for my thing, I'm only going to give grades. So
I'll give a grade in a small kudo.
Okay, so I'm gonna do two things. I watched Civil War, the film, recently.
Oh,
I'm gonna give that a 2.5
on
5. Yeah, I'm not trying to kill it, but I mean, I watched it, and I don't know if anyone saw my story, but it felt like I was watching that episode of Community where Britta is taking pictures during the pillow fort fight. That's what that shit felt like. Like, no offense, the movie is shot. The movie is shot beautifully. That's one thing, and there are really eerie kind of nods to how helicopters flying over water, a la Vietnam, but they're in America. So stuff like that was really cool. Because I've seen like
4.
Yeah, I've seen all those movies as it like the Vietnam stuff, and you see all those movies. I grew up in the 80s, so that was still a really big thing in television and film. So when I saw this film and I saw that helicopter swooping over the water, I was like, okay, this is a reference to Nam. I get it. And then to see this insane army, and then I'm like, oh yeah, this is in America that they're depicting this. And then to understand that California and Texas essentially didn't like Trump is what the movie feels like. I'm like,
I haven't watched it yet, but I heard really good things. So I'm surprised. I'm more intrigued that you rated it 2.4.
2.5. Yeah, yeah.
2.5,
yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
On a scale of 5 or 10, just to be
On 5.
5.
2.5
Okay,
out of 5. Because it's not a horrible movie, but like there's a character in it that really felt underdeveloped, and the film is also insanely predictable. Like there's
How is
stuff that
Kristen
she's
Dunst?
only reason the movie's good. Everyone
Oh,
else in the movie,
really?
she's
Wow. Okay.
like
She putting
it's
in work.
her character is a little kind of not cheesy. Her
I was
character
gonna
is
say in the trailer, she doesn't look like she's doing too good.
well, and that's good because that's
And
what
that's
it
the
is.
point.
She's not doing well. She's been in war-torn areas her whole life. She's a like journalist photographer, and
Oh,
she's
I meant
just
the acting. Sorry.
I got what she meant. I got what she meant
I
hardcore.
know.
That's why I started to laugh. And then Brian's just talking about like
No,
Yeah,
but you know what? I feel like that acting was due to the fact that the character is broken. Like that's not her
Okay,
acting
that's fair.
poorly. That's the character being a really
No, I'm gonna give her.
weird.
I'm gonna give her a shot for sure.
Yeah, because when I
Yeah.
was watching the movie, like the acting felt stiff, but then I realized, oh no, your character is this. Your character is a stiff weirdo who
Oh.
who has been desensitized.
You're a
Okay.
broken person.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
Okay,
like
makes more sense.
meanwhile, her partner is desensitized, but is curing himself with alcohol. I guess I don't know what his deal is.
Oh.
Like, not to say he's not drinking a lot, but his reaction to things.
not drinking.
Yeah, his reaction to things is weird. Like, I don't even know how to describe how he reacts to stuff, but there's moments where he's like laughing, then there's moments where he's like crying, and I'm like, this dude feels bipolar as a character.
Okay,
But it's
so he's also
interesting.
broken.
Yeah, dude, everyone's broken. The only person who's not broken is the girl who played homegirl from Craft 2 and from Priscilla and Kaylee something. I don't remember her last name, but she's the other star of the film, and the story is her being broken. Everyone else is already broken. Sorry?
Kaylee Spaney.
Yeah, Kaylee Spaney, that's it. So the whole movie is everyone being broken and her becoming broken.
Oh, sad.
Yeah. There's I will tell you now, there's no positive in this movie. Like,
yeah, I know. I've heard. But I've heard people like raving about it, like how amazing it is.
I like movies that don't shy away from giving us a bad ending.
Yes.
Like I guess I should say a sad ending, not a bad ending.
For sure.
Yeah. So, and then Dark Matter, Apple TV show, Apple TV Plus, and I've watched the first 4 episodes. There's going to be 9 or 10, I think. I don't know, man. This ain't it. I'm sorry, Apple.
Wow.
Rough. Just straight under the bus.
Well, you know what it is? It's because from my understanding, and I have to double check because maybe they're not there anymore. My understanding was at one point the person from HBO left HBO to go to Apple. So all those shows at Apple now, the reason they feel like old HBO shows is because it's the person who had an HBO sensibility. So like Severance and like a whole bunch of that stuff that's there now. And then this show feels like an HBO show. But, you know, HBO didn't always hit home runs. And it feels like one of the ones that just wasn't as good as the others. So the acting is cool. I love Sci-Fi, and it is 100% a Sci-Fi show, which is great. Like, it's like old school, multiversal, Schrodinger's cat. We're in the box. Superposition, quantum physics type stuff. And I'm like, yeah, let's go deep with it. But then you do that, and then you have characters who don't. And Dave, you and I always bring this up. You have characters that don't live within the logic of the world you've built. So, that
never works.
That pisses me off when a character who's been told doing X will lead to your death, and then the character does X. And you're like, wait, why would the character do X? Oh, because in 3 episodes from now, the character doing X will pay off. Fuck you. Write it better. Write it better. Don't.
It is a bit of a cheat. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't make a character dumb to give me something later. This character is super smart. This character has done super cool things. You're going to make this character do one insanely dumb thing so that you can be like, oh, this is why this happens. I was like, fuck you. Like, it made me so mad. Anyways,
Yeah.
I was so mad. I was so mad,
That's funny.
guys. I was really mad. I gotta say,
mad.
I yelled at my TV. You should have left the bitch. Like, I was really pissed
Oh wow!
Anyone who knows what I'm talking about, you should have left her. You should have left her and
Jeez.
just closed the door. That's all I'll say.
my
Anyways.
God. Oh my god.
Yikes.
Hit us with that Bad Batch, and then we'll hit it with the news.
All right. All I'll say for Bad Batch is, I don't want to take too much time. I thought it was a good dismount overall as the
Okay,
last
cool.
season.
Oh, true. I'm so behind, man.
It
I'm
was
like
the it was the last season. I do think there was one missed opportunity to make like a really cool villain,
Okay.
because in the first season, slight spoilers if you haven't watched everything there, but in the second season they lose one of the Bad Batch members dies, basically dies, and there's a guy who the Empire creates like these super soldiers from, like, the clones, right? And just how one was behaving, it looked like they really knew them very well, not just because they were a clone, but because they knew them very well. And I thought it was going to be, we found his body, like charcoal body, and it was going to be him. It turned out not to be that, so that's one spoiler, whatever. But I thought overall the dismount was cool, and the end makes it interesting that this show could live on in the Star Wars U because of how they end it. Because one of the characters
it's supposed to, right? Isn't that the idea? Like, everything's connected now.
So, like, again, spoilers, slight spoilers for those who, because it's still worth watching. But basically, at the end of the show, it's like those who survive grow old, but Omega has now grown up, right?
Right.
So you see her being like, well, now I'm going to go do my own stuff. So, example, I think Omega might show up in some of the. She could show up in Ahsoka and stuff like that as an adult.
Why do you even use the word spoilers? We knew they were going to plant the seed for characters.
No, I know, but like because if you're watching the show, there's plenty of reasons why you might not think that.
Oh, okay. I mean, I always thought Omega was going to be a character that they were going to connect or bring in possibly to live action. Or I was actually going to ask you, did they plant the seed for a new series? Because we know Bad Batch got planted in Clone Wars. So were we like, did you think they were planting the seed for another series to come forward?
I would think more based off of how it ended. Either you're going to make something that's straightly only for Omega when she's older.
Right.
But I think it's more going to be her being in another show. Like, I think she'll end up being a main character in someone else's show. Like, for all you know, she might be in the, because isn't there going to be like a new Rebel show or Jude Law show or whatever? He's supposed to make one that's like an offshoot Starship group. She could maybe join that group. Any Rebel-esque show. So, example, Ahsoka, the one I just said with Jude Law. Any ones of those happening? Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, that's it.
That could happen. For all you know, she might be one of the main, because we know that the new person taking over the Star Wars movie wants to make them more female centric. I have my own opinion about that. You don't need to make it specifically. They've always had strong female characters, but she could easily become one of the lead characters in her universe. Easy.
That's fair. I'm down. Guys, gonna play the theme. We always
audio.
So much stuff to talk about. But yeah, guys, what do we got here? What do we got? Fantastic Four, Natasha Lyonne, latest to join the ensemble of Marvel Studios movie. That is great. A lot of people are expecting her to play the partner, the girlfriend to the Thing, who happens to be a worker in the comic book. And Natasha Lyonne's very specific New York accent would be perfect for that character.
And she's played a blind woman before, because isn't she blind?
Yes, the character is blind in the comic books. I don't know if Natasha Lyonne has Natasha Lyonne played a blind person before?
Wasn't she in Blade 3 and she was a blind person in that?
Sir, if you remember that is fantastic. I did not remember
Blade 3.
I do, because I have an argument about how Blade 3 should have been Blade 2 and Blade 2 should have been Blade 3.
And Deadpool should have just been what Ryan played in Blade, which is the other thing that people always joke about.
Exactly.
All right, that's fair. Marvel sets Vision series for 2026. Wild. I didn't think that's how we were going to continue the Wanda and Vision story, but I'm here for it, I guess.
Well, where is Wanda now, though?
Dead.
She's dead. So what's?
Yeah. Well,
Wait,
Spoilers.
what? You're saying WandaVision is continuing?
Well, I would
Well-
say Vision is continuing off of the WandaVision
Oh,
story.
Vision.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
you
okay.
see, I mean, sorry, I didn't think I had to say spoilers for a movie that came out more
No,
than
no,
a year
no.
ago. But,
you know, like.
but Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness,
No.
and remember, guys, superhero movies. She's dead, quote unquote. Wink, wink. We live in a multiverse Marvel now, so there's no such thing as dead. It just means they'll pull her from somewhere else. I wouldn't be shocked if they pulled her from the universe where Wanda took over that poor girl's body and ruined everything. Because I would say that girl has reasons to want revenge on everything. So her coming back sounds plausible. Netflix's Terminator Zero anime reveals August release date and first look photos. If you guys haven't had a chance, you should check those out. The pictures look pretty cool. I like anime. So if you're gonna do Terminator and anime, I feel like
It's full circle because I know a lot
It's a
of
cheat code.
anime that came out back in the day was like, hey, look, there's Terminator. Hey, look, there's Blade Runner, and they just pulled a lot from that, like in the
Right.
80s and stuff. So it's kind of full circle where this one takes place in Japan.
Yeah. I feel like that's a cheat code. I love it, and I'm okay with that cheat code. Put it in. Let's go. Okay. Oh man, I wish we had more time for this one. Giancarlo Esposito says fans won't predict his mysterious MCU role, but he will get his own TV series.
That guy
And
is breaking rules. He's just.
I mean, he hasn't
just
said anything.
breaking. No,
He
but I
hasn't-
mean in the sense that he's just
Spoiling stuff
token it.
for
He's
his
taking-
own
yeah,
gain.
He's taking over everything. He's in everything now.
Yeah, he is in a lot of stuff.
Well,
That's fair.
I
He's,
know
like,
he usually
everywhere.
tends to like tell like fans stuff, and then all of a sudden they have to kind of pivot and like, oh, you son of a, why did you say that about your character being a clone thingy? Like he'll wear stuff and be like, oh, that's not the real one. Maybe it's a clone.
Oh god.
He's a sneaky guy. He's having so much fun. He's so sneaky.
So he's
But
getting his own show?
He says that
Yeah.
he predicts
What-
that he'll get his own show. I think no,
Interesting.
Yeah.
because that's the thing. It's like who would he be? Because the other thing is like you just have no idea, bro.
No.
I just wanted to show you all the frame I got. I got a piece
Whoa.
Oh, nice. Old
of
school.
Giancarlo from Bug.
That's sick.
Jeez.
And this is the one, I think I mentioned it once before. It comes with the sneakers because the series
Oh,
is actually
yes,
focused
yes,
on the
yes.
sneakers. So it's a picture of him and the sneakers are in a separate frame. And then I have Marty McFly and then his sneakers are in a separate frame. So I'm very excited to
Oh.
put those up at some point. Unfortunately, they won't be in frame here behind me because there's no room. But
Mhm.
it is pretty nice.
Cool.
Did you guys say who you think he might be playing? Because I can't
No.
think of any Marvel
I
characters.
I can't think.
No
I have
idea.
I have a sneaking suspicion it might be like
I
an
definitely
alien or mutant or something like that.
I definitely don't
gonna
think it's
be
X Men related though, because
You don't
he
think he's
said
going to be Magneto?
no. He said
Dang,
specifically. He said specifically. He appreciates the Professor X stuff, but he's like, no, this is apart from that.
because he has to have his
Own TV show.
That's the thing that throws me off.
Yeah, I can't think of
That's hard.
Thunderbolts related. I don't know. Yeah, we'd have to.
Would he be I guess Spider-Man hasn't had a what's his name? Osborn.
And Osborn would be a good one to have a show.
I know. Oh, that's it. I know you on him as Harry Osborn.
Probably not Harry though. Probably
no,
'cause,
sorry,
Willem-
Norman's
yeah,
the dad.
because Willem
Yeah.
Dafoe, because
Norman.
if he plays a variant Norman Osborn who gets his own show with Oscorp in the MCU, I'm not mad. I'm just saying. I'm not mad at it.
that
Because the
wave.
thing is,
that
I don't think it's
wave-
gonna be an all. I because that's the thing. I don't think it's gonna be an alternate universe thing.
It doesn't have to be an alternate universe, but Norman Osborn, as we know him, that we saw, is not from the Earth, the main Earth. So he could be the Norman Osborn of this Earth in the MCU.
Yeah.
Because Willem Dafoe is not from that Earth. He's from an alternate reality. He's a variant.
He's the variant.
He's the variant. Yeah. Okay, so we're saying our guess is Norman Osborn. Jaws, that was a good call.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
I was wondering why that kept flowing up in my feed. Like, why does it keep showing him as normal? Okay, sure. Okay, whatever. Oh, I think that's what the internet.
I would be down for that, and it would make sense for a show. Norman Osborn.
So he's going to change up his hairstyle. He's going to wear a nightcap, and then he gets up and he's got the waves.
Also, Thunderbolts ends up just being Dark Avengers. Like that would all make sense if they start putting all those pieces together. Just saying. Dave doesn't look happy, but
I'm not. No, I'm trying to think. I'm just thinking. That's all. It's my.
Okay.
I can't think of who he would be.
Yeah. Rumors that we got: Disney Plus series Scarlett Johansson is developing with Marvel is the Blonde Phantom. This is an old character that I don't think anyone even talks about. Like we're talking like World War II era type characters, which I mean, if you have the IP, why not? Marvel is eyeing Sydney Sweeney to play the character. The guys, when I say rumors, this rumor is from like the rumor sites, like the conspiracy weirdos who say like, well, you know, I really think, and like push up their glasses, and like the OGs who are sitting in basements making up stories just to get clicks. So I usually don't share them, but this one got reshared a lot about Scarlett Johansson, and I am interested in seeing if she would continue a relationship with Disney.
Yeah,
that's everything.
That's the weird part. Did that finish? Did that?
Yeah,
finish?
it all got resolved.
Finished?
And Chapek, the guy that was kind of disrespectful to her, got the boot, and Iger's been back since. And Feige never agreed with what Chapek did. So anyone who was there who did her wrong is gone at this point, technically. So it's possible they might be rekindling their love affair.
Oh, but it's not like Joss Whedon and Fox.
God, Joss Whedon. What an unfortunate man. Talk about ruining a legacy. You had it all. Everyone loved you, and then you
were the chosen one,
dude. Big facts. He was the chosen one. Literally, when I listened to that
balance to the Force,
I listened to that MCU audiobook, and there's a whole section about how they're like, man, should we make Whedon the dude? Like, put him in charge of some stuff? And Feige's just like, yeah, I mean, we got him working on this and punching up this and doing that. And then his whole career went
to shit.
Yeah, because he started finding out he was a creeper. Couldn't leave what's her name? Georgia from damn, I forgot the name of the show. Gossip Girl. Couldn't leave her alone with him in a room, supposedly. Michelle Thatchenberg is the name of the actress. Yeah, we're all shaking our heads for the audio listeners. We should be concerned that man was not allowed to be in a room with a teenage girl. Anyways, fuck Dan Harmon. Y'all who've been here since day one know what that means. That's the end of the show, folks. We always got to go out on a blast. Is there anything y'all want to tell the people?
Check out Transformers Slag and the Toro Armado podcast with Aaron Archer on YouTube.
Bong bong, guys. That's another one. We want to thank y'all for tuning in. We'll be back with another one soon. Also enjoy, man. If you're here in Montreal, this has been some nice weather. So go get that sun. And yeah, we'll be back. Peace, y'all.
Peace.